As he approached them, they felt a very strong wind blowing, such that there was a loud whisper from the trees around them.
Tales, fables, and sounds of the Nigerian stories. Àrọ́bá ní bàbá ìtàn. Bọ́mọdé ò bá tàn, á bá àrọ́bá. Nigerian Folktales.
You insult me in this life? You dark-looking thing. You who look like a dead frog.
Akara retorted angrily.
If care isn't taken, I'll destroy you with fire.
And that was it, for the gourmet stopped grumbling and quietly went its way, hissing as it went. Akara had many of such encounters in Igbo Irumole, for he was one hunter that could communicate with spirit beings and strange creatures. It was on his return from this venture that the king sent for him. We will be on our way now. However, keep in mind that we shall all gather at the market square on the final day of our departure, 3 weeks from now. Odetogun informed Ajanoku as he departed with Oluwinyo to continue on their mission. They went to the other villages within the kingdom, and finally, after some weeks and days, Odetogun's team of extraordinary and brave hunters were ready to go to the evil forest on a mission to get the jeweled box. What a sight they were to behold, as each of them looked spectacular in their hunting outfits, with all sorts of weapons and charms you could imagine strung on. Apart from Odetogun, Ajanoku, Olounyo, and Akaraogun, who were mentioned earlier on, among this team of hunters were some very notable ones. First off was Kako, also known as Onikumo Ekun. In stature, he was the tallest of them all. So tall was he that he was almost as tall as a tree. He was introduced to the team by his friend Akaraogun. Here is a short story of how he got his name and nickname. His mother was a forest demon called Egbiri, and his father an unstable goblin known as Ewele. But when these two gave birth to him, he looked perfectly like a human. His parents didn't appreciate this, and so they decided to discard him by dumping him in the hollow part of a tree called Ako. He was later discovered by a hunter passing by who took him home and raised him as his son. The hunter named him Kako because he was found at the Ako tree in the forest. He once killed a tiger as a teenager, but kept it a secret from his father. And when the tiger decayed, he took one of the bones of the carcass, making use of it as a club, also known as kumo. Hence, the reason his friends referred to him as Kako Onikumo Ekun. Next was a man called Bembe Olokun. He was a person who was never filled up regardless of what he ate. You could kill a whole elephant for him to feast on and he still won't be satisfied. You could even give him an entire lake to drink and he still won't be contented. He was always hungry and thirsty because he was cursed. There was another man by the name Aramanda Okunrin, the mystical man. He was so called because he would always feel the opposite temperature of everything everyone else feels. When the sun is scorching, everyone will feel the heat except Aramanda Okunrin. He'd shiver instead and exclaim, "Otutu mumio." Another hunter that was present was a man called Elegbede Ode. He had special ability to hear the language of animals because he was raised by gorillas. When he was born, he had 3 eyes. 2, the usual ones you'd see, and the 3rd eye at the back of his head. This was a very strange thing to behold. Therefore, his mother threw him away and left him to his fate in the forest, where he ended up living among animals. After a long time, he came to settle among humans as he lived in the palace. It was the king who encouraged his hunting skills by gifting him a gun. Nevertheless, he had the behavior of a gorilla, hence the reason he was called Elegbede Ode. Efoiye, the birdman, a cousin to Aramanda Okunrin, was also a part of this team of hunters who were going to the evil forest. He was indeed a birdman, for he had feathers instead of hairs on his skin and he could fly, but only when he sensed danger. His wings behind him was disguised alongside his outfit so that you'd think it's his bag of weapons and not his wings. Even the feathers on his skin were properly hidden under his clothes in such a way that you won't even notice at first glance. There was also Imodoye, whose strength was his great wisdom, for it was he who gave the parting speech on behalf of the team after the Kabiesi had addressed them.
My people, I greet you all and I thank you for coming out to see us today.
He began.
Your coming out here to bid us farewell and to wish us well has really encouraged us the more to go on this journey. We are well aware of the inevitable dangers we shall face on the way. And we also know that not everyone that will go on this journey will return, because it is indeed going to be a very vicious expedition. This is why I implore you all not to forget us. Every one of us, let this day go down in history. Tell the world of this memorable day in our kingdom. With all these being said, on behalf of my teammates, I greet you all till we meet again here on earth or in heaven above.
Afterwards, he addressed the hunters and encouraged them to be brave and brace themselves up for the journey before them. So with that, they began their journey to the gravely evil forest. They continued their journey after they had left their kingdom, and for a while, everything seemed to be normal. Then a strange thing happened. Suddenly, the forest began to close in on them so that there was no clear path to forge ahead. They tried all they could to escape being trapped, but all their efforts proved abortive. So they accepted their fate and awaited death. However, by evening, on the 3rd day of being trapped on the same spot, they noticed 2 birds that had come to perch on one of the tree branches around them. Kako was about to take a shot at them, but was stopped by Elegbede Ode, who himself shot one of the birds some minutes later. When asked why he acted the way he did, he explained that the birds were actually talking about their predicament, and that the bird he gunned down was telling the other bird that for Olodumare to forgive Kako his crime of killing his wife, it should be sacrificed, otherwise the hunters would remain trapped. So they sacrificed the bird that was shot in order to appease Olodumare, and before long they were able to make a headway, then moved on. The next day, by afternoon, they came across a strange creature who looked quite scary. As he approached them, they felt a very strong wind blowing, such that there was a loud whisper from the trees around them.
Fear. The one called Fear is coming. He is coming. Like the sword of Iledua, to cut down the wicked, who stubbornly walks in his evil ways.